Hi, I'm Ava Lily. I asked people on TikTok and Instagram to ask me questions about being legally blind and albino. I didn't actually get that many questions, but I thought I would still make a video about it and just kind of talk about my journey a little bit. So I asked these people on TikTok on a private TikTok account where nobody is on it, but I just asked the internet. And in the video, I have really bad lighting, so my eyes look dark, but also I have really dark blue eyes. I'm albino. I'll explain that in a second. But this question says, are your eyes naturally dark? Does your type of albinism not affect your eye color? So, like I said, like I've said in, just my life, I guess, I have ocular cutaneous albinism, which affects your skin, hair, and eyes. And a big misconception about albinism is that people with albinism always have white hair, colorless eyes, and are extremely pale. I am extremely pale. I can't go out in the sun. I burn and it hurts, so I don't do that. And then clearly I'm blonde. Very, very clearly I'm blonde. And do I know how exactly that happened? No. But I will say, if you look at baby photos of me, I look really albino. And I don't know how else to explain that by maybe just showing you. I don't know if this photo is gonna pop up well. Oh! Here's the photo. That whole thing didn't work. Alright. And then this other question, it was like, I thought your albinism caused you to not have pigment in your hair either. Why is your hair blonde? Again, ocular cutaneous albinism is kind of a spectrum to some degree. People can have light brown hair. People with albinism can have green eyes. It doesn't always mean no pigment. It just means like very little. How it doesn't affect my hair and eye color, don't know. Couldn't tell you why that happened. So, Emily, not like different Emily than my bestie Emily, but like a church bestie Emily, She said, "How'd you get so pretty?" I'm just that way. Yeah. What is the hardest part about living with your condition? Probably that I can't drive. And, it's not, like, you gotta think about it in a way. It's like, oh, not only can I not get to the grocery store, you know how awkward it is to have your parents drive you to dates? Very. I mean, I can't drive to school. My mom always has to go with me. My dad has to take me to school sometimes, and I can't. It's like, oh, my friends are going to hang out this day. My parents are both working. I can't get a ride. I can't go. So, because I don't have anybody else around me who can do that for me. My sister's in college, 2 hours away, but she's moving back, so hopefully. But she's going to have a job as a nurse, so, saving lives might be better than driving me to parties or whatever. And then, how did you discover you were legally blind? This is kind of a long story, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk mostly about. So when I was born, as you have seen, I looked white everywhere, and my parents didn't really think much of it. My dad was super blonde as a kid and didn't really think much of it. I had gotten my normal baby shots, as one does, and then I ended up having a reaction to one of them, and I had gone completely blind. And my parents didn't know that, because, I'm like a couple weeks old. Babies don't really do anything at that point anyways. So my mom was like, I think something's wrong. My dad's like, she's like 6 weeks old. What do you mean? It's not like she can respond and tell you she can't see or anything like that. So he went up to me and like touched me, and I screamed because it scared me, and he was like, oh, something's wrong. So then they took me to the doctor. They discovered that. They did a bunch of testing on my eyes, and they discovered that I have ocular cutaneous albinism, and that if I get my vision back, I will be legally blind anyways. So thankfully, I got my vision back. But I do want to share this. I'm religious. I'm a Christian. And my grandma took me to her Catholic church, which they're kind of a little bit linked in a way. But she took me to the Catholic church. And there's this big dove stained glass window, like up on the ceiling kind of, in like a dome. And she says like where we were sitting, the sun perfectly had it shine right on my eyes. And she was like, that's really weird. It's never done this. I sit in the same spot the same day all year round, and it's never done that. And that happened, that like the dove is the sign of like the Holy Spirit or something. And then a few weeks later, I got my vision back. So that's pretty cool. I think it was God for sure. We discovered I was legally blind by the testing, and then yeah, my parents didn't know anything about it besides just that rats have it. I didn't really realize it was a thing that humans could have. And yeah, I think that whole situation just like completely blew up, because I know my parents felt such like kind of, I hate to say the word burdened, but a little bit. They're like, I didn't realize this kid is gonna have so many struggles in life. But my parents have been such an amazing duo for me to have as parents. Like, they work so well together. They're just like wonderful, wonderful people that I'm so blessed to be able to call my parents. Like, God could have picked anybody to be my parents, but he picked the most perfect people for me. And they're both so understanding. And although they can't understand completely, they can't be like, oh, I understand that, they can sympathize with it enough to where I feel heard and seen. So that's pretty cool. And they never complain about having to drive me places. They never complain about me not being able to see certain things. It's like, I don't know, it's just wonderful. Another question that I got was, how does it affect your daily life? Now, all the time, in every way, I feel, because I can't, like when I was little, we'd go outside and my family would be like, oh, look, there's a butterfly. I don't see nothing. There's not a butterfly there, but I'm gonna believe you. Like, I trust you. And so, I mean, for a while there, I felt really, I guess, just like left out, and just because I couldn't experience the same things that other kids did. And I was severely bullied from kindergarten to sophomore year. A lot of it had to do with my vision and the way I looked. I have makeup on, but my eyebrows are completely white. My eyelashes are white. Anyways, I don't do this for other people. I do it for me. Just to throw that in there. And I mean, at school, even when I'm wearing my glasses, I'm not, because there's a glare, but I can't see the board very well. I always have to take pictures and zoom in. For like, writing is really hard, especially with like the light blue lines. I'm like, oh gosh, like I can't tell where I'm supposed to write. Receipts, when you have to sign a receipt, I can't read anything on the receipt. I can't see the numbers really unless I'm holding it super close, but like I'm trying to get out of line and it's so awkward. And I recently went to an arcade with my friends and I had gotten a bunch of points at some of the games. I went to the like checkout thing and there was like a wall of all the things you could get, and I couldn't see how much the prices were on anything, and it was really awkward. So I was just standing there trying to like, I was looking at my friend at the other register trying to get her to hurry up. She didn't see me, but it's fine. And the guy was like, are you gonna get anything? And I was like, yeah, 1 second. And then my best friend came over and I was like, what's the most expensive thing I could buy with this? And she's like, probably that. And I was like, I'll get that, because I just genuinely couldn't see any of like the prices or whatever. So that's really fun. But I mean, not being able to drive yourself is really, really hard, because I don't know, like, I drive my grandparents' golf cart when I go to Missouri on their farm, and I just drive around and I jam to music, and it's like really therapeutic for me. But I can't do that when just at home. Like, I can't just drive around by myself and scream to music, you know? Which, I know that doesn't sound like a big thing, but I'm a big music person. So I just blare music in my headphones and walk around my room as a therapy. That's what I do. So, yep. And then, just, I don't know, there's just, like, things on a daily that I'm like, they'll be like, oh, look at that, look at that cool car, and I'm like, yes, very, very cool. Or, this is a big one, when people go to show me, like, if a meme on their phone or, like, a text message, I have to hold my phone this close to my face. Genuinely, if I'm on my phone, it's like this. And it's not I'm trying to be, like, on my phone, but, like, if I hold it down here, I can't read nothing on there. So, that's kind of hard. And reading books is hard. I really wish... Also, I'm dyslexic, so that doesn't help. I'll talk about all that in a whole other video. But reading books, I'm like, my books are this close to my face. Or taking tests at school. I'm like, the table's here, I'm like this close to the table and writing, you know? It's like, it's really not fun. And then my back hurts because I'm like hunched over a desk because I can't see the words on the page. It's great. I love being legally blind. It's so much fun. No, but I think, I don't know. And for a long time, I hated just telling people I'm legally blind. And there's a certain point where I can just ignore it. And just, like, I'm like, if you aren't going to consistently be in my life, I don't have to tell you. Because when I tell people, they're like, bless your heart. Like, oh, like, do you need anything? I'm like, don't look at me like I'm a helpless baby squirrel. I'm fine. I'm as fine as I can be. I function enough. I don't know, they just talk, like, they look down on me like I'm less than them, and that makes me angry is all I'm gonna say. Can you teach me how to do this? Or like, oh, I'll just do it. You won't. That drives me insane. Like, people assuming I can't do something just because of my vision. And I get it. Hey, Ava, read that sign 20 feet away. That's not gonna happen. But if it's something just like, hey, can you teach me how you built that Lego set? I don't know. And then they're like, oh, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. You just sit, I'll just do it. That makes me so angry. Like, if you aren't willing to be patient enough to try and help me be independent, I don't want you in my life. That might be a little too far. I don't want to see you very often. I don't want to hang out with you consistently. But, yeah, and I don't know. It's just, also, I'm so sorry if this is wobbling. This is being recorded on my iPad because I have a camera, but I don't know how to use it. And I don't think it's good. It was like $50. Also, I have ADHD, and I forgot to take my medicine. That's kind of just things I deal with personally on a daily basis. It's great. If you guys have any questions that I did not go over, and I actually don't really remember what all I talked about because ADHD, but I definitely want to talk about, like, my learning disabilities and how, and just, like, my journey with God and how being bullied definitely made that connection stronger. Thankfully, it went that direction and not another, but yeah. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I will try and answer them as best I can. Even if they're like, what's your favorite color? I think you might be able to tell my favorite color, but you can ask me anyways. And just simple questions too, because I get extra time on tests, so don't ask me super complicated questions. I'll have to think on those ones. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I hope both sides of your pillow are cold. Bye bye.